Welcome back to Cyberspace. I'm your host, Leslie Poston, and today we're diving into the complex world of online communities. We'll explore how these digital spaces shape not just how we interact, but often who we are and who we become. From places of discovery, education, and connection, to support networks, echo chambers, and beyond, let's uncover the psychological underpinnings of our virtual third places. This episode will lay the groundwork for several future episodes on various aspects of online community as well. As real-world, accessible, free third places have dwindled, online communities have become a pivotal part of the digital age, serving as a replacement for the offline third place. Online communities provide a gathering space for sharing information, fostering relationships, and even shaping political and cultural narratives. But what draws us to these digital communities? And once we're there, how does our participation in them and their algorithmic attributes potentially change us? Are these changes universal, or are they influenced by generation, culture, or other offline influences on users? Human beings are inherently social creatures. Historically, our survival depended on our ability to cooperate within groups. Today, while we may not face the same physical threats, the basic human need for connection remains. Digital platforms satisfy this need by offering spaces where like-minded individuals can meet, regardless of geographical boundaries. The allure of finding your people can be incredibly strong, especially for those who feel isolated, endangered, or marginalized in their physical environments. But it's not just about connecting over shared interest. These platforms also offer the allure of anonymity and the freedom to explore facets of identity that you might feel unable to express offline. For many, online communities provide a sandbox for identity experimentation, where new aspects of the self can be tried on and experienced without real-world repercussions. Beyond just finding community, digital platforms also serve as venues for personal expression and social activism. For instance, movements such as Me Too, Free Palestine, and Black Lives Matter have shown how online communities can mobilize and empower individuals to enact social change. These platforms allow for the rapid dissemination of information and the ability to organize physically dispersed individuals toward common goals. Academic research further supports this dynamic. Dr. Zeynep Tufekci, in her book Twitter and Tear Gas, highlights how digital platforms have transformed the pace and scope of social mobilization, allowing movements to rise rapidly, but also facing challenges in sustainability and structure. These platforms amplify voices that might otherwise be unheard or suppressed, providing a space where collective identities form and evolve quickly. Studies support this idea that participation in online communities leads to increased civic engagement. A 2020 study by the Pew Research Center highlighted that individuals active in online political forums are more likely to participate in political rallies and campaigns. This supports what we've seen on our screen and in our offline communities, that our digital communities not only serve as a space for discussion, but also act as catalysts for offline action, bridging the gap between online engagement and real-world activities. Moreover, online communities like Reddit have subreddits dedicated to virtually every interest under the sun, from gardening to particle physics. Communities like these often facilitate peer-to-peer learning and collaboration that might not be possible locally. Academics like Dr. Jenny Davis, a sociologist specializing in technology and society, argue that these interactions can significantly enhance individual creativity and distribute knowledge across traditional geographic and social boundaries. The draw of digital communities varies significantly across different generations. Millennials and Gen Z, for example, use online platforms not just for social interaction, but as primary sources of news, activism, and a space for civic engagement. Dr. Nancy Bame's research at Microsoft highlights how these generational differences influence engagement levels and the types of communities that individuals choose to participate in. Her studies suggest that younger users are more likely to engage in communities centered around social justice issues compared to older generations who might favor communities based on hobbies or professional interests. However, the impact of these digital communities is not felt uniformly across all demographics. Younger generations, particularly Gen Z, are native to these digital spaces and navigate them with the intrinsic understanding and fluency that older generations might lack. This generational divide can lead to different patterns of usage and influence, with younger users often leading the way and defining the norms and use of these digital communities. Cultural backgrounds also play a crucial role in how individuals interact within these digital spaces. By Dr. Shihui Han explores how East Asian communities tend to value collective opinions and consensus online, which contrasts sharply with the more individualistic expressions often seen in Western online communities. These cultural nuances significantly shape the dynamics within digital platforms, influencing everything from the types of dialogue that emerge to the ways disagreements are handled. Furthermore, the evolution of digital communities reflects broader societal shifts. As physical community spaces like local community centers and public squares become less common, people of all ages turn to digital space to fulfill these communal roles. This shift is noted in a study from the Pew Research Center, which illustrates how digital platforms have increasingly become essential for maintaining social interactions, particularly in urban environments where traditional community structure have eroded. As we participate in these communities, they can begin to influence our sense of self. Social identity theory, which we've touched on before, explains how group affiliation impacts self-esteem and identity. In online communities, this process is magnified. Just as humans do in offline communities like school, church, work, or social groups, online community members often adopt the norms, languages, and attitudes of their community, which can lead to a significant reshaping of their personal identity. For instance, consider how language evolves within niche online groups. Specific phrases or memes that are born in these communities can become integral parts of communication, signaling membership and belonging. Over time, this shared language can alter someone's way of thinking, as cognitive linguistics suggests that the language we use influences how we perceive the world. Research from Dr. Russell Belk of York University has explored how online environments influence the concept of the extended self, a theory that suggests our possessions, and now our digital profiles, are a continuation of our identities. This is especially true on more performative social networks, such as Instagram, where users craft their digital personas by sharing curated content that reflects their desired self-image. This practice can both affirm and distort one's sense of identity depending on the feedback received from that community. Additionally, the phenomenon of role-playing in online gaming communities provides a vivid example of identity exploration. Gamers often adopt characters vastly different from their real-life personas, which, according to a study published in the Journal of Consumer Research, can lead to significant shifts in a person's real-world beliefs and attitudes, illustrating the fluid nature of identity in digital spaces. The role of anonymity in online communities offers a double-edged sword. It can encourage openness and honesty, but can also lead to disinhibition and toxic behaviors. Studies such as those by Dr. John Suler and his work on the online disinhibition effect explain how anonymity and invisibility can make individuals less restrained and more likely to act out aggressively or to share intensely personal information. Users of TikTok during the COVID pandemic will understand that last one intimately. Identity formation within these virtual realms is heavily influenced by the anonymity that the internet can provide. This aspect is particularly liberating for individuals from conservative or oppressive backgrounds. A study by Dr. Kavita Karan at Southern Illinois University found out that anonymity allows for the exploration of identity in ways that are often not possible in physical spaces due to societal or familial pressures, particularly for LGBTQ+ individuals. Furthermore, these platforms often act as mirrors reflecting our desired selves. Dr. Aaron Buckles with the Dark Personality Research Lab at University of Winnipeg suggests that the ways we interact in these spaces can enhance or diminish our self esteem depending on the validation we receive. For example, positive feedback on platforms like Instagram can enhance one's self view, while negative interactions can lead to feelings of inadequacy or anxiety. Culturally, the formation of identity online also varies significantly. For instance, in collectivist societies, community approval might play a larger role in shaping online identities compared to more individualistic societies where self expression might be more pronounced. This cultural variation affects how individuals from different backgrounds engage with and are influenced by their online interaction. The impact of these digital identities reaches back into the offline world. The concepts introduced online, from new ways of self identification to emerging social norms, are transforming offline social interactions and societal expectations. Dr. Judith Donath from MIT's Media Lab discusses how online identity cues, such as language use, affiliation, slang, and even avatar choice, can spill over into real world settings, influencing everything from fashion trends to political movements. Additionally, the rapid spread of internet memes, as well as that aforementioned online slang among different cultural and age groups, highlights the fluidity and permeability of online offline boundaries. These elements of digital culture are not only shaping how individuals present themselves online, but also redefining interpersonal communication across different societal segments, as explored in research published in the Journal of Computer Mediated Communication. Each community also develops its own set of norms and rules, often unspoken. These norms can enforce conformity and discourage dissent, leading to what's known in social psychology as groupthink. This phenomenon can stifle innovation and critical thinking, as the desire for harmony and conformity overrides the motivation to present alternative views or critiques. However, when managed well, community norms can also promote supportive and nurturing environments. For example, many support groups for mental health, addiction recovery, or chronic illnesses offer lifelines to those struggling. For people in disability communities, online community offers them access to each other that they are often denied in offline inaccessible spaces. These communities enforce norms of non-judgment and confidentiality, which are crucial for creating safe spaces where individuals can share openly and support one another. Also, as a side note, I encourage you to find and follow creators in your online spaces, such as Imani Barbarin, who goes by Crutches and Spice, and other influencers who talk in depth about communications around disability and other issues online and can bring you knowledge of these issues from a different perspective. Highly recommend. In the professional realm, platforms like LinkedIn demonstrate how online community norms can influence behavior and professional identity. The norm of maintaining a polished professional image on LinkedIn influences how users present their accomplishments and interact with others, often fostering a culture of networking and career development. Additionally, the adaptation of professional norms within digital communities such as LinkedIn shows how online behaviors can influence career prospects and professional relationships. The norms of professionalism and networking in these spaces often translate into economic opportunities, demonstrating the tangible impacts of community norms on personal advancement. These norms can also act as thought limiters, restricting people's behavior as they seek not to lose those opportunities, which can have a wider impact in the offline world as well. Academic research into community norms, such as the work by Dr. Cass Sunstein on group dynamics, supports the idea that these norms not only influence individual behavior, but can also lead to significant changes in law and policy. Sunstein's research discusses how online communities can accelerate the formation of social norms that later transition into broader societal expectations impacting legislation and corporate policy. The norms within online communities often mirror and magnify the norms observed offline, but with much faster dissemination and evolution. Sunstein's work on conformity and dissent in online spaces shows how rapidly community norms can influence individual behavior and, as mentioned, even legislative processes. Their findings underscore the power of digital echo chambers in accelerating the establishment of norms that could take much longer to settle in offline communities. The enforcement of community norms online also has real world legal implications. For example, the moderation policies of platforms like Facebook have been subject to scrutiny and legal challenges regarding free speech. This interaction between digital norms and real world law is a growing area of concern as online communities become increasingly influential in everyday life. Dr. Mary Chayko of Rutgers discusses how these digital norms create a sense of portable community that individuals carry within them, blending offline and online lives. This blending raises questions about the boundaries of community influence and the extent to which online norms should impact offline behavior and societal expectations. The role of community leaders and influencers in setting these norms cannot be understated. As noted in a study by Dr. David Giles at the University of Winchester, these individuals often play a pivotal role in modeling behaviors and setting the tone for community interactions, which can have wide-ranging effects on their followers' real-world behavior and attitudes. Furthermore, the challenge of maintaining community norms across global platforms highlights the tension between local cultural practices and global digital norms. This tension is particularly evident in multinational platforms like Facebook, where content moderation policies must balance a wide array of cultural norms and legal requirements, as discussed in Dr. Tarleton Gillespie's work on platform governance. It's also evident in the infiltration of those platforms by artificial intelligence, too often deployed unethically. We'll delve into that in a future episode, but I highly recommend reading the work of Dr. Temnet Gebru, Dr. Emily Binder, and others, beginning with their paper on the dangers of stochastic parrots, which should help you begin to understand the foundational issues. One of the critical concerns with online communities is their tendency to create echo chambers or filter bubbles. These terms describe how platforms algorithmically curate content that aligns with a user's pre-existing beliefs, which can exacerbate polarization and misinformation. Individuals within these bubbles may find their views constantly reinforced, reducing their exposure to conflicting information and thereby entrenching their beliefs. This phenomenon isn't just a byproduct of algorithmic sorting, it's also a result of human nature. We gravitate towards information that confirms our worldviews and reduces discomfort, a tendency known as confirmation bias. When these natural inclinations meet sophisticated algorithms, the result can be deeply segregated communities that rarely, if ever, interact with opposing viewpoints. The concept of filter bubbles was popularized by Internet activist Eli Pariser, who argued that such bubbles can negatively affect democracy by creating highly polarized environments devoid of diverse opinions and debates. His observations have sparked significant discussion in academic and technological circles about the responsibilities of tech companies in ensuring that their algorithms promote a balanced view rather than exacerbating division. The construction of echo chambers has intensified with the advent of advanced algorithmic filtering, tailoring content to individual preference at an unprecedented scale. This phenomenon, elaborated on by Parser, argues that such personalization can undermine the democratic discourse, creating fragmented realities where shared facts and common ground is scarce. The dynamics within echo chambers can also exacerbate societal division. These digital constructs not only limit exposure to diverse viewpoints, as we mentioned, but can also reinforce extremism by creating feedback loops where only concordant opinions are shared and amplified. This phenomenon poses significant challenges to democratic discourse and to the healthy exchange of ideas. Real-world impacts of echo chambers are particularly evident in political polarization. A study by researchers at Stanford University found that individuals who exclusively consume news from sources aligned with their political beliefs, such as an exclusive Facebook group, are less likely to believe credible information that contradicts their viewpoints, thus contributing to political fragmentation. Studies from Stanford University's Computational Propaganda Project highlight how these algorithms not only reinforce these existing biases, but can also manipulate public opinion by promoting certain types of content over others. This manipulation raises ethical questions about the responsibility of tech companies in ensuring their platforms do not contribute to societal polarization. One might say that ship has sailed, but tech companies, the government, and activists continue to work on the problem. Of note, Stanford and Facebook came under scrutiny for manipulating the emotions of Facebook users by controlling the content in their feeds without their knowledge or consent. I'll put a link to that problematic study and the blog post about this episode on mindmedia.tech. Going back to Sunstein's work, we know that echo chambers can influence public policy and decision-making processes. By isolating individuals within curated content loops, these chambers can skew perceptions of public opinion, polarize political debates, and lead to policy decisions that do not accurately reflect the broader societal needs and wants of the constituency. Moreover, the impact of these algorithms transcends cultural and generational divides, creating a homogenized digital experience that can dilute local identities and traditions. This effect poses significant challenges for cultural preservation in the digital age, as younger generations may prioritize global digital cultures over local tradition, as observed in research by Dr. Haney Farid, a digital forensics expert at UC Berkeley. Given these challenges, how do we navigate online communities responsibly? Awareness is the first step. Recognizing the existence of echo chambers and the impact of community norms on our thinking is crucial. Beyond awareness, actively seeking diverse perspectives can help mitigate some of the adverse effects. Engaging with a variety of sources and communities can broaden our understanding and reduce the risk of becoming entrenched in a single viewpoint. To combat the negative aspects of online communities, digital literacy initiatives are crucial. Programs like those developed by the Digital Citizenship Institute and the Distributed AI Research Institute aim to educate users about the importance of verifying information, understanding algorithmic influence, and seeking out diverse and equitable perspectives, thereby promoting healthier digital interactions. From an academic standpoint, Dr. Patricia Wallace's book, The Psychology of the Internet, provides a comprehensive look at how individuals can develop habits that prevent the formation of insulated online communities. Wallace suggests practical strategies such as cross-community interaction and the promotion of empathy-building activities, which can help counteract the tendency towards homogeneity and isolation in digital spaces. As we close today's exploration into the digital realms that we occupy, it's clear that online communities, while offering vast opportunities for connection and growth, also come with their own sets of challenges. These digital spaces reflect and amplify our human nature in ways that can both unite and divide. By understanding the psychological forces at play, from the allure of finding your tribe to the echo chambers that limit your perspective, we can better navigate these waters. Let's take this knowledge into our daily digital interactions and strive to build more inclusive and understanding online spaces. Remember, the power to shape these communities is quite literally at our fingertips. Challenge your perspectives, embrace diverse dialogues, and let's continue to support one another in unraveling the complex tapestry of our digital lives. I'm your host, Leslie Poston, and this has been PsyberSpace. Until next time, keep connecting, keep exploring, and stay curious.